Tonight, we tackle a question that has stumped the world for generations: the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Donald Trump is back, reportedly floating a massive 20-point plan for Gaza. Is this a genuine blueprint for peace, or just a rebranding of old ideas? The stakes are high: lives, futures, the soul of a region. This isn't just politics, it's about real people and real suffering. We'll break down the plan: ceasefire, money, security, promises of a better life. My job? To give you the facts, challenge assumptions, and present all sides. In a conflict this complex, easy answers are usually wrong. So, let's dig into Trump's proposal and ask, is this the deal of the century, or a deal with the devil? What's the real deal? Point 1. Ceasefire. Everyone wants an end to violence, but what does durable mean, and who enforces it? Without trust and a rock-solid, enforceable mechanism, possibly international peacekeepers, a ceasefire is just a pause before the next round. If these questions aren't answered, the plan is dead on arrival. Point 2. Economic incentives. Billions in international investment are promised to rebuild Gaza and create jobs. Prosperity is pitched as the antidote to extremism. But who controls the money? Without airtight, independent oversight, aid could empower militants instead of civilians. The line between reconstruction and rearming is razor thin. Economic revival must be transparent and accountable. Point 3. Security. The plan calls for a demilitarized Gaza, but with Israel maintaining security control. For Israel, it's non-negotiable. For Palestinians, it feels like occupation with a new label. Can peace built on such an imbalance ever be just or sustainable, or is it a recipe for the next uprising? Point 4. Reconstruction. Gaza's infrastructure is in ruins. The plan promises a massive, internationally funded building boom. But the blockade on materials remains a huge obstacle. Will the blockade be lifted, or will every bag of cement need approval, slowing progress to a crawl? Without a clear solution, rebuilding remains just a promise. Point 5. Representation. Who speaks for Gaza? Hamas, the Palestinian Authority, or a new technocratic government? Any plan that ignores this political minefield risks collapse. Without legitimate elected leadership, peace is built on sand. Point 6. Humanitarian aid. Immediate relief is essential, but aid delivery is fraught with chaos and accusations. The plan must guarantee safe, verifiable delivery, possibly with neutral third-party protection. Otherwise, aid becomes another tool for control and conflict. Desperation grows, and so does instability. Point 7. Border control. Israel and Egypt tightly control Gaza's borders. The plan proposes high-tech, smart borders, but for Palestinians, it's still an open-air prison. Who controls Rafah crossing? Egypt, Palestinians, or an international body? Borders are about freedom. Without it, sovereignty is an illusion. Point 8. Refugees. Most Gazans are descendants of 1948 refugees. The plan likely offers compensation and resettlement, not a right of return. For many, money can't replace lost homes or history. This could be the deal breaker for Palestinian acceptance. Point 9. International monitoring. Enforcement is key. A robust UN-backed mission is needed, but will it have real power or just write reports? Both sides distrust international bodies. Without teeth, monitors are just spectators. Point 10. Cultural exchange. Decades of conflict have built walls of fear. Joint art, sports, and student programs aim to foster empathy and break stereotypes. Critics call it naive, but seeds of understanding must be planted. Peace needs more than politics. It needs people-to-people connection. Point 11. Education. What kids learn shapes the future. The plan calls for joint curriculum review and new schools, teaching tolerance and critical thinking. Changing textbooks is controversial, but essential for breaking the cycle of hate. It's a generational investment in peace. Point 12. Water. Gaza's water crisis is dire. The plan proposes desalination, wastewater treatment, and a joint water commission. Water doesn't respect borders. Cooperation is essential. Shared resources can build trust and mutual dependence, turning a source of conflict into a tool for peace. Point 13. Energy. Chronic blackouts cripple Gaza. The plan envisions solar power, regional grid connections, and joint gas projects. Energy independence and shared resources create economic interdependence. When economies are linked, war becomes costlier. Powering Gaza means powering peace. Point 14. Trade. Gaza's economy is strangled by blockade. The plan calls for open borders, trade corridors, and special economic zones. Security is key, but commerce is the surest path to stability. A busy economy is rarely a violent one. Point 15. Environment. Gaza's environment is collapsing. The plan funds cleanup, waste management, and joint conservation projects. Pollution crosses borders, so must solutions. Environmental cooperation builds common ground for the future. Point 16. Healthcare. Gaza's hospitals are overwhelmed. The plan funds rebuilding, training, and joint research. Health is a bridge. When doctors and nurses collaborate, humanity wins. A healthy population is a stable one. Point 17. Technology. Israel is a tech powerhouse. Gaza has untapped talent. The plan funds coding boot camps, startups, and joint R&D. Tech partnerships create jobs and personal connections. Collaboration weaves societies together beyond politics. Profitable peace is lasting peace. Point 18. Tourism. Gaza's coast and history could attract the world. The plan envisions hotels, resorts, and jobs. Security is a prerequisite, but tourism gives everyone a stake in peace. A welcoming Gaza changes global perceptions. Point 19. Media. The media often amplifies division. The plan funds joint journalism, independent outlets, and media literacy. Telling human stories builds empathy. Media can fuel conflict or foster understanding. Point 20. The long-term strategy. All previous points are tactics. This is about a comprehensive, generational roadmap. The plan must address final status questions: borders, sovereignty, Jerusalem. Without a clear political horizon, economic development is just window dressing. Real peace needs a destination, not just a detour. 20 points. One grand vision. Is this a genuine path to peace, or occupation rebranded? The plan offers prosperity and security, but demands trust and painful compromise. Critics see a high-tech cage. Supporters see hope and opportunity. Success depends on trust and political will, on both sides and internationally. The status quo is a dead end. The debate isn't just about this plan, but about what other choice there is. That's the argument.